Hey, James Slattery here, coming at you with a new presentation tonight on automated audits. Basically, I do prospecting via automated audits. I mail them to prospective clients, and they get something from me for free. A whole list of all things that are wrong with their website, wrong with their Google My Business and their reviews and their listings, etc., and things that I fix and make them better. So this is basically my workflow. I start in Lead Kahuna. It outputs a CSV, pushes it out to Auto Mail Merge, and outputs a PDF. The PDF can be emailed or it can be mailed in the way that I send it. I use an 11 by 17 printer, print it out in full color, comes out awesome. So Lead Kahuna. Basically, Lead Kahuna allows you to do prospecting, basically doing a keyword search here at the top, and keyword, city, state, press find leads, and it runs for a few minutes, and it grabs up all lawyers in Suffern, New York. Right? This scrolls right and left, and I'm going to show you all the different fields that this grabs up. And basically, you can select here how many different fields you want, or data points as they call them. And here they've chosen 14 out of 14. So that's the basic introduction to Lead Kahuna. The other way that Lead Kahuna can bring in data is through a spreadsheet. So you can have a spreadsheet with 4 different fields on it: company name, city, state, phone. When you push those into a spreadsheet and you populate them, maybe you're driving around with a handful of index cards and you jot down, hey, that's a business that I want to do work for. Company name, city, state, phone. Throw those all together at the end of the month. You throw them into a spreadsheet, and then you run a prospecting automated audit, and you output them and send them out to the clients. You'd be surprised how many you'll close. All right, and this works incredibly fast. Basically, these are the fields that this software grabs up, and obviously it's focused at marketers, so it brings in a whole bunch of marketing data that we can find all the sore spots with, and we can say, hey, you know what, you have problems with this, this, and this. We fix this and this, and we get you ranked based on that. So basically, this is broken down by section, by color, so I'm going to go over a couple of different things that this does. So obviously, it grabs up, from those 4 fields that you would punch in from, driving around, or whether or not you're, grabbing it off another list or grabbing it off a website, a list of realtors, and you like working with realtors. You grab up the name, city, state, phone number, and you can blast this out. So it grabs up the company name, the address, the zip code, the web address, the phone number. Then in the second section, it grabs up the CMS type, whether or not it found the blog, what the load times are like. So if you're someone that's really big into maximizing the speed of websites, obviously when you output your CSV file, you could reverse sort it based on site load time, and you can find the ones with the slow, the lawyers in that area with the slowest websites, and you can appeal to them. Whether or not they have a contact form, whether or not they're SSL verified, whether or not they use video on their homepage to fix their bounce rate, whether or not they have micro formats, whether or not they have a click to call button, do they have connections to their social media, and whether or not it's mobile responsive and optimized, whether or not they have a chatbot. Maybe you're a chatbot vendor and you can just find all the ones that are don't have chatbots. How many citations they found. Now that's relative because it's not a real chat engine. It's not a citation finding engine. So that is not going to be, you can't set your watch to how many citations Lead Kahuna finds. It's all relative. But if it has, if your listing has 30 and other ones have 140, yeah, you probably don't have as many citations as the other guys. It also finds whether or not it's ranking on the map, whether or not it's what category they're using as their primary category, what other categories are they using, their URL for their GMB listing, their Google aggregate rating of their reviews, the average of their reviews, how many reviews, the frequency of their reviews, how many bad reviews, how many good reviews, SEO, whether or not they have keywords in their homepage, the title, whether or not they utilize the city, whether or not they have, like location type pages, whether or not they're on Groupon, whether or not they're on Twitter, whether or not they use pay-per-click, whether or not they use Facebook, and to what degree, and if they just have a page claimed and it's got no activity. Whether or not they're using retargeting, whether or not they're doing anything on YouTube, whether or not they're doing anything on Instagram, whether or not they're doing anything on Pinterest. Basically, it does 100 fields and it outputs them all to a CSV file. You can nix all the fields that you don't like and move forward with the ones that you do. Sort them based on their strengths and weaknesses, and appeal. You can only shoot out to the ones that are good prospects for your business and a good fit for you to help them maximize their online visibility. Next, so now we have the content for an audit. Now what? So the CSV was made with Lead Kahuna. You could have also used Managementware Google Edition. So Managementware is very similar to Lead Kahuna, has different fields. It is API aware, so it is really fast. That's one of its strengths. Lead Kahuna works by scraping, so it has to wait for each one of the results to come up, and then it has to actually find the content and scrape it off the screen, whereas Managementware works with Google API and just pulls it up. The CSV serves as base data for our project. We take that CSV file and pump it into a program called Auto Mail Merge, and that data plus more creates a stunning audit. I'm going to show you an image of a base audit, like a rough sketch of what an audit would look like. And basically, I print mine on an Epson ET16650. It's a 13 by 19 printer. I use 11 by 17, stock paper, so it's something worthwhile. And I fold it up and send it to the clients, and they love it. It's a poster about their business and things that they need to fix about their online visibility. And they do call the number on the bottom. This process has the highest close rate and the highest rate of calls from a direct mail campaign that I've ever done in 30 years of doing direct mail. You output this and you email it to them, or you can create the digital file, the PDF, and you can email it to your prospects, although people like getting it in their hands. Auto Mail Merge is the next program that we use, and it's real simple. Basically, it takes an Excel spreadsheet like this, a CSV file, pumps it into a template that looks like this, and it's just waiting for values, and basically it plugs in the values into these areas. That's the crux of this whole process, is using a template, populating it with CSV data, and outputting something worthwhile. Now, it's all based on the structure of your middle piece there, which is if that looks nice, then your output looks nice. So you're going to look at my, rough and ready sketch on an audit, and it's not nice. It's missing all the content underneath each one of these headings as far as explaining it to the client, because they don't know what the hell, SSL enabled is. They don't know, what geo-targeting is. There's a whole bunch of things in here that, they are not spelled out, and they could be. I would put a lot more content onto this, and mine is professionally typeset with my logo, etc. And one of the newest features, I do not, by the way, if anybody asks, I do not show my template out to anybody. If you happen to see it, kudos to you, but I don't show my template to anybody. I paid thousands of dollars to have it typeset by one of the best typesetters in the country, who sets type for billion-dollar companies' catalogs, and he did my GMB audit template, and it looks incredible. And when I send it out, I'm kind of amazed when I send it out to people that I own the company that's behind that, because it looks so good. The last thing is we recently started implementing adding the GeoGrid, and if anybody, especially working with lawyers, but most industries, if you send out something that says, here's your competitor and they're eating your lunch, you will close more deals. You show where they are damaged, and you show what they could be, and you show where their competitor is. And the nice thing about this is their competitor is real good, but it ain't perfect. So there's room for improvement. So you can get this beyond where they're at, but need to do some work. It costs money to do some work. So you show this to a potential client, a prospect, and they realize, hey, we're going to have to spend some money with this guy to get them some things fixed. And the fact that they crank out this template and they crank out this automated audit to anybody that they want to talk to about, SEO services, obviously they've done this before. It's credibility, and it works. It closes deals. I bring it into appointments. I, do a lot with it, and I do a lot of mailings with it. Again, that printer that I use, the Epson 16650, that uses wet ink. It costs pennies to crank out 11 by 17 full color pages, and they look incredible. And it costs a little bit to mail them out, but you know, you're making multiples upon multiples of what you're spending in postage and printing and your time, assembling it and, putting it out there. So hopefully some people got something from this as far as my automated audit process for prospecting of SEO clients. Any questions or concerns, throw them into the comments. Like and subscribe. There's a lot more interesting content coming up, and some days I'm going to come out with a piece. Some days I, get too busy where I can't. But, most days I'm going to be coming out with content. And, the more people like and subscribe, it gives me a reason to push out more content. When I don't hear from people, it makes me think that my content's not getting far and I'm wasting my time. So hopefully I'm not. Hopefully people are getting a lot from this. And I look forward to providing you with more SEO related content. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.